Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Daniel Adams. I am with the marketing team here at Green Shade Software, and I would like to officially welcome you to today's LinkedIn Live event, all about future-proofing your payroll. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to be here. We really appreciate that. As we're waiting on everyone to filter on into their digital seats, we're going to start you off with a recent music video parody that we created. So enjoy the Green Shades Spark, and then we'll begin the event right after. Enjoy.
Think you can be all compliance? I doubt it. We master payroll, we'll tell you all about it. Green Shades is your spark and you found it. Everybody's getting paid, start bouncing. Think you can be all compliance? I doubt it. We master payroll, we'll tell you all about it. Green Shades is your spark and you found it. Everybody's getting paid, start bouncing. Complex payroll is not a fun game. Simplified, that's how we do with Green Shades. I will show you why you need to migrate. Ripping pay runs and GPs, you'll be getting road rage. Listen up, cause what we do every day is seamless. Green Shades crew non-stop on top, our payroll's painless. We saw the need, you know we're gonna face it. So migrate from GP to Green Shades, don't waste it. That's our passion, we can't live without it. You can migrate like we do it, don't doubt it. Any obstacle, we find a way around it. If you wanna process payroll with no risk, shout it. Think you can be all compliance? I doubt it. We master payroll, we'll tell you all about it. Green Shades is your spark and you found it. Everybody's getting paid, start bouncing. Think you can be all compliance? I doubt it. We master payroll, we'll tell you all about it. Green Shades is your spark and you found it. Everybody's getting paid, start bouncing. Payroll with Green Shades, people be like, who are they? In-house payroll in the cloud, gets you through the day. You create a new path when you automate. No time to waste, optimize and get them paid. With GP integration, never see us out of place. Streamline like a rocket off to outer space. Feel the charge, payroll and HR. Let them all know Green Shades sets the bar. Feeling awesome anytime you switch. Time to blossom, payroll with no glitch. Green Shades, top shelf, time to simplify, don't miss. You gotta know dynamics we enrich. Think you can be all compliance? I doubt it. We master payroll, we'll tell you all about it. Green Shades is your spark and you found it. Everybody's getting paid, start bouncing. Think you can be all compliance? I doubt it. We master payroll, we'll tell you all about it. Green Shades is your spark and you found it. Everybody's getting paid, start bouncing.
All right. Well, I hope you thoroughly enjoyed that. And if you'd like to see it even more, visit Green Shades' official YouTube page, where you can see that video and many, many more. Well, enough of the fun. Let's get on into even more fun, which is the reason why we're here today, the LinkedIn Live event, all about future-proofing your payroll. So I'm going to go ahead and turn things on over to our speakers for today. Just a quick note, if you would like to ask a question, please feel free to put them in the comments below at any time during the event, and we're going to go ahead and answer those in a follow-up recap email following this event. So, all right, Jerica, Michael, take it away.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Today, we're going to be talking about future-proofing your payroll, so some migration strategies and financial insights. We're hoping from today's webinar, you'll learn some effective migration strategies, some methods to tackle complex payroll challenges, and ways that you can utilize your payroll insights with your dynamic solution for good financial insights.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Halford. I'm a payroll account executive here with Green Shades. And let's start with the first topic here about effective migration strategies when you're integrating payroll with Dynamics. So really at Green Shades, we're talking about a phased payroll approach, and we'll talk a little bit more about what that means. So first thing that we want to talk about is maybe asking yourself some questions about any challenges you might be experiencing with your payroll system. Really reading these questions here about obstacles that try to integrate payroll, struggling to keep up with compliance, so on and so forth. If you're answering yes to any of these questions, it might be time to consider your options and what else is out there for you.
Michael, I see the complex payroll one come up a lot. You see people doing a lot of manual workarounds, extra softwares, manual approaches to this. I see this one come up a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that one of the other ones that always comes up too is how time consuming is the payroll process for you. We have a lot of clients and people that we talk to who talk about having payroll spanning over multiple days and taking a lot of man hours to complete. So that's another one to take a look at, and how you can more automate some of those processes to make things easier on you and free up time. So what is a phased payroll migration approach? So really, when we're talking about this, payroll can kind of be its own specific thing outside of what you're doing for your everyday accounting and all of your other business needs when it comes to that. When we're talking about maintaining your current dynamic solution, exploring new payroll options can give you the chance to have a modern system that really automates a lot of those processes, as mentioned before, gives you the flexibility to, keep growing and scaling as a business and help you improve your efficiency. And so really what we're talking about there is kind of taking payroll outside of Dynamics so that you have the chance to have a system that's designed specifically for payroll to meet these needs.
And Michael, one thing I will say about this phased payroll approach, a lot of Dynamics customers, especially on GP, are hearing, hey, GP is going away, we have to move now. But with a phased payroll approach, you get a chance to your point, modernize your payroll solutions, but you still get to keep the integrity of your GP system and even expand the lifespan on it. And then when you're ready to move, you have a solution that can move with you.
Exactly. And that's another good point too. If you tackle payroll ahead of time before you do any potential changes or migrations to a different ERP solution, even if it's still within the Dynamics family, being able to tackle payroll first and get that out of the way and make sure your process is smooth and running so that your folks can get paid and your employees remain happy is a good approach. And then also when you go to migrate your ERP, you're not doing implementation for two different solutions at the same time, which could really be a big burden on your team.
That's a great point to bring up the implementation piece, because that big bang can be a lot. And I think people don't often think about the functionality that you may lose when you're migrating your ERP system. So payroll is a part of your ERP system. You want to make sure you do have a solution that can move with you, to your point, to reduce some of that implementing burden.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about the steps to ensure a smooth payroll transition. We have a few things that are listed on here. We can go into some detail on these at a time, but really just this is kind of like the game plan that we've lined out that makes the most sense for most people that we speak with. So you want to do a thorough assessment of your current setup and make sure you know exactly what it is that you need, what you maybe don't have currently that you're looking for, what are your requirements there, what type of customizations do you have, so on and so forth. And then planning to have accurate data migration so that you're moving your data over from your current system into whatever you're doing new and making sure that your data stays accurate, you don't have any hiccups there, and you're also staying in compliance. And then, a configurable payroll setup, really what we're talking about there is a robust payroll solution that can be really customizable and configurable during initial setup and ongoing as you move forward so that you can meet your current and future business needs in regards to payroll. And then we talk about the testing. That's something that we do here during our implementation phase. We actually set up a testing environment first so that we can go through everything, make sure your data runs the way it's supposed to, make sure your new processes run the way that they're supposed to. And then once we have that really running smoothly, then we transfer that into a live environment so that you can start using it for your actual employees. And then with our dedicated support and training, you're going to have ongoing support, including one-to-one tax support for your payroll taxes, as well as being able to train all of your employees who are doing the administrative work during implementation. And then also train your employees for employee self-service needs when they're logging in to check their pay stubs, their HR documents, their information, so on and so forth.
Michael, I love this point of conducting a thorough assessment of your current setup. Every organization is so unique. It has such unique needs. And a lot of these out-of-box solutions, especially when you look at a lot of outsourced providers, boxes you into a lot of manual processes, and that doesn't give you that option to really configure your software, especially once you get onboarded and into the system. When you want to make those changes quickly, it can get kind of complex. So I love that in-house payroll solutions really gives you that flexibility to still make those changes as your organization grows, scales, and becomes more complex.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And a lot of people who are in here listening to this right now are probably used to having a lot of that flexibility with the payroll that's inside of Dynamics GP. And if you go to an outsourced solution, a lot of the time you're sending a lot of the data to the outsourced solution and they're pressing the buttons and doing everything and doing the calculations and you're kind of hands off. Most people that are currently using GP are going to feel like they're losing some of the control when they do that. So being able to have a solution that's still in-house like Green Shades can maintain kind of the status quo for that, but also give you a lot more modern options to really help improve the efficiency of that process.
It's like the perfect blend of technology and human touch.
Exactly. That's a really good way to put it. So adapting payroll to scale with your organization. So there's a few things here that we can talk about. Once you set up your payroll, you can continue to scale your operations and grow beyond your current dynamic solution to kind of really hone and customize and do exactly what you need it to do. A lot of companies out there have multiple EINs, multiple locations, multiple workspaces that they need to work within for different groups of employees. So we have the ability to actually set you up with unlimited EINs and configure payroll for scalability so that we can really have the control that we need in order to control each of our different organizations. And we do that at no extra cost to you. So you could have as many EINs as you need. The in-house flexibility, which we just kind of covered and talked about, being able to continue to adapt your solution without the need for help from your providers. As your accounting functions expand, you can easily add in a map to your GL account, add different companies on if you need to, have the flexibility to run multiple pay runs without any problems. If you have different schedules or different groups of employees, and be able to do that all inside one location is really crucial. And then for those complex payroll calculations, right now you may not see a need for a flexible cloud-based solution, but as you grow, business complexities also grow. So as your payroll becomes more dynamic, you can process new jurisdictions, new pay types, frequent fees, all of that. If you have job costing, we can do that and manage the accounting for that. So it goes back to your GL and it's all done within your payroll and puts those calculations in automatically. And then supporting your business for future needs. If you're looking to do a migration to a new dynamic solution for ERP, whether that's like a Microsoft Dynamics Business Central or even finance and operations, we have the ability to sync with those as well. So while we have a deep integration with GP, we also have deep integrations with those Microsoft solutions, as well as a couple of others outside of Microsoft. Even if we're talking about like a Sage Intacct or maybe an Acumatica, we can support those. So let's talk about our integration capabilities with Dynamics GP. We have a graphic up here on the screen that kind of talks a little bit about that. So obviously, as Jerica mentioned, there's a lot of uncertainty in right now around GP as far as what the time frame looks like. Is it actually going away? When is that going to happen? And if you're happy on your current solution with GP, you need a provider that can work with you today. And that's kind of what we can do with our integration capabilities here. You see, we have some bidirectional integration where the two systems can talk with each other so that they can share data back and forth and stay in sync, so that you can have a modern payroll solution and potentially even extend the life of your GP beyond, what the current timetables are looking like. So being sure that you have a payroll partner that has these kind of true integrations instead of just a GL integration is going to be really crucial if you want to maintain that life. Like we talked about, outsourced solutions, typically they're only going to deal with the general ledger sync. So they don't have some of these other things like the employee record syncing back and forth. Having the pay history come over, including your pay history from GP. We can migrate that into Green Shade so that you still have that data and you can go back and look at your historical information. That's really going to allow a seamless flow of information between the two systems so that it feels like you're doing still payroll within GP, but it's a separate platform that can manage and scale and be, for the future. So as Mandy just mentioned, for folks who are looking to make a change, Business Central Dynamics BC pops up quite a bit. It's kind of one of the most common transitions from GP is to look at Business Central. It's kind of the newer option for that. And Green Shades has a direct integration that's very similar to our GP integration with Business Central as well. So you'll see a lot of the same type of bidirectional flow that you see here on the screen. So being able to sync up your employee records, have your GL information there. I mentioned a little bit earlier about jobs. There's a jobs module in BC that we can directly integrate with and pull the payroll information over into that to account for your different jobs and projects. So there's a lot of different functionality and capability that we have there. The nice thing is too, is we show these two integration pages. You can start off with GP as we mentioned, and if you migrate to BC at a later time, you don't have to go through a full new implementation for payroll. You could actually just get your BC set up, go live in that, and then reach out to Green Shade support if you're working our payroll, and we can switch our integration sync over to match up with BC as well and still maintain a lot of your data. And that also goes true for some of the other solutions that are out there. Like I mentioned, finance and operations for Dynamics, Acumatica, Sage Intact. Even though those two are Dynamics products, we do have integrations with those as well. So we have similar functionality as what you're seeing on the screen. So we give you the option to be able to choose the ERP system that's right for you while maintaining a modern payroll solution.
Thank you, Michael, for taking us through some of the options for migrating your payroll solutions. Now we're going to talk about what that migration looks like post implementations, how you can optimize your payroll for better management. So one thing we see is a lot of challenges with navigating compliance. In fact, we have stories of customers on older softwares. For example, for Alabama, the tax tables weren't updated and they were having to go in and do a lot of manual processes. So one, keeping up with these compliance changes, and then two, having technology to support you. So when you're going through your payroll, you can automate some of those compliance pieces.
Yeah, and so this is something that's really cool. If you want to go back to that slide for just a second.
Sure.
Showing the two percentages that we do on the screen here, talking about compliance and organization changes and keeping up with those compliance and regulatory changes. That's the beauty of having a cloud-based payroll solution. We are compliant with all 50 states. We stay up on the regulations. We update the system automatically. So you don't have to go through and do system updates on your own manually in order to get those compliance changes in there. We actually do that for you and manage all of that, so you get the peace of mind of knowing that you're going to be up to date. And whenever you log into Green Shades to run payroll, those changes are going to be in there for you based upon your work locations, states, so on and so forth.
Michael, I think that's a great point, because keeping up with these compliance updates, things are changing all the time. In fact, minimum wage laws are going up year over year. We have states that have a tiered minimum wage, so every year they have increases. And falling out of compliance, as you can see up here, can cost approximately $2,000. So staying up on those regulations is key. Having a software that can is key.
100%.
And that's what we talk about a little bit here. So to Michael's point, staying up to date on those compliance changes is going to be crucial. There's a lot of changes based off of jurisdiction, based off federal laws, and outside of payroll on the ACA have, or even paid sick leave have. There's a lot of changes going on. To be having a software that's able to keep up with that will allow you to mitigate a lot of these compliance risks. And as well as when you're processing payroll, having a system that's able to automatically adjust any of your calculations to help you remain compliant is also something that's going to be critical. Another advantage of having that cloud-based system and a lot of that automation built in for you. So for example, if you have an employee who's receiving tips, maybe their tips aren't getting them up to the wage it would make for minimum wage requirements, right? With Green Shades, we actually go in and we'll adjust those tip balances, adjust your wage balances to make sure that you're staying compliant with those minimum wage laws. So just having those little items in the back of your software can give you that peace of mind when you're processing payroll. And one last thing too, something we always see, again, going back to my example with Alabama and their tax tables, rates are changing all the time, and it's important that those tax tables are continuously being updated as the changes are coming in, so you aren't falling out of compliance. For that Alabama example, the software actually released a statement to fill the gaps to either create payroll codes or use a software like Green Shades to help you stay compliant. So just having a system that automatically does that for you can remove a lot of those manual processes on the back end. So outside of compliance, you also have a lot of complex payroll needs, as we talked about before. As your organization grows and scales, payroll can become a lot more complex. And when it comes to complex payroll calculations, automating as much as you can on the back end will help you out, as well as Michael talked about, setting up your software in the beginning to address a lot of your complex needs to help automate those processes during payroll. So you're not spending all this time correcting payroll errors. For example, 12 hours a month is the average time in business are spending correcting these payroll errors. You don't have to give up your accuracy for swift payroll processing. Allowing a system to automate some of this on the back end and still give you that flexibility while keeping you accurate when it comes to these complex payroll calculations. So there's ways that you can streamline your payroll to reduce overhead costs. I think a lot of the times we don't think about the soft cost that goes along with processing payroll. So if you are doing a lot of manual workarounds, using software to fill gaps in your payroll, having to create extra clicks just to do basic processes. It can take a lot of time out of processing your payroll. So automating as much as possible and setting up those codes in the back end, so your payroll codes, your PTO codes, benefit codes to fit your organization's needs can save you a lot of time during payroll processing. And as you're going through and automating these calculations, again, you're staying compliant on the back end. So you're going through your payroll process, you're not giving up that accuracy while you're still remaining compliant and keeping accurate payroll.
Yeah, and one of the key things on that screen is that with the payroll wizard that's within Green Shades, the average customer can quickly run and process payroll within 10 minutes from start to finish because a lot of the data is already in there. It's automatically synced into the payroll wizard. The calculations are automatically done. Really, you're just putting your eyes on it to make sure everything looks right. So you don't have to go through and do a lot of manual processes, manual data entry, a lot of that stuff. And then once payroll is complete, with our employee self-service, which I love, you can enable your employees to have quick access to their pay stubs and a lot of different self-service options in there that they probably don't have a lot of the similar access to within a system like GP, so that they can go through and feel like they're in control of their data as well, and that they're empowered to find the answers that they would normally come to you in your administrative staff to ask.
Yes, and Michael, to your point, just being able to go through and process that payroll so quick, one thing that helps with that is those alerts to areas that may be of concern. So you can quickly go through and validate and check those areas without having to do all these extra clicks and going through all this data. You easily are alerted to those areas. And if you do make adjustments, there are real-time adjustments. You'll see the numbers, just you can make sure it's accurate before you proceed.
Yeah, it makes it really nice.
So I know we talked a lot about the phased payroll approach and how you can save soft costs by automating payroll processes and automating your compliance. But we wanted to give you a real life example of a company who used the phased payroll approach, and they're still using their dynamic software while being able to enhance their payroll operations with Green Shades. So Gabri is a company who was facing significant challenges when it came to processing payroll in GP, including a lot of manual workarounds, having to deal with on-premise solutions, missing some of those updates. So they switched over to Green Shades Payroll, and they were able to save almost 2 days in payroll processing time by automating a lot of those solutions with a cloud-based provider. And it gives them the flexibility in the future. If they choose to migrate their system, they can, but as they're comfortable in GP, they can still save some time, have a more modern solution, and extend the life of their GP while having accurate payroll and having that information still come back to their GP system to optimize overall business efficiency.
Yeah, and so this is a really great example. Like, they came from taking 2 days on average, sometimes more than that, to run their payroll, each pay run, down to half a day. So they freed up a full day and a half with having a lot more flexibility, one, but also a lot more certainty that everything that was accurate. So not only did it free up a bunch of time, but they got the peace of mind knowing that everything that was good and correct, so that they can move on to other projects that had higher priority.
Yep, and still being able to maintain their system, but still increase their efficiency, have the systems speak to each other, and be prepared for the future all at the same time.
Okay, so tools and techniques that we've talked about for achieving detailed financial insights. Really, what we're talking about here is learning some best practices on how to leverage payroll data for financial planning. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. We have a lot of reporting that's within the system based upon the payroll data that you can use to your advantage, from things like workers' comp reports to just overall pay data and pay data changes over time. Being able to select date ranges and those kind of things gives you a lot of more control over the data that you're seeing. So you can leverage that data for better insights. So really that helps with budget management, doing cost accounting and linking labor costs to that, so you can really develop specific budgets that are accurate. Monitoring expenses, tracking the labor expenses accurately to find areas where you can have, budget overruns or corrections, and then being able to facilitate timely adjustments so that you can get things in a better place. And then identifying opportunities. So analyzing that data to find insights that can help you get better production planning and efficiency improvements to improve other processes outside of payroll, just for the overall business. And then also budgeting for the future. You can use the historical data that's in the system to inform and refine those labor budget forecasts for upcoming periods, so that you can project out for year over year. So we can really use that data to enhance all of these processes and give you a better insights and overall get a better solution, not just for payroll, but for your business overall.
So I think something else is also interesting is our cost accounting report. Once you finish running payroll, it's like our normal payroll data report that you get at the end of running payroll, but in this one, it actually breaks down your cost accounting and all the split allocations for your project. So you get a really clear understanding of where all your labor is going, how it's split out amongst your projects and stuff. And I think that's a really cool report to use when you're going through budgeting and tracking projects and different things.
Yeah, you can even find ways to maybe improve the efficiencies in those areas so you can, uncover more space or more room to take on additional projects that you might not currently have. So successful cost accounting, really what we want you to do is set you up for success here. So with that, we have some ways that we can do that. We can configure the fields to suit your unique needs. Our system is very configurable, whether you use our support to do it or we teach you how to go in and do it yourself, so that you can manage that on a day-to-day basis. You can map dimensions to your dynamic solution so that everything's thinking back correctly, so you can track that from your financial standpoint as well. We set up the GL mapping inside the GreenShade system to map to the GL inside of Dynamics so that that data is coming over accurately, and it's a really simple and easy process when you finish a payroll. When you get done running a payroll and you go to the post-payroll workflow, there's a button right there to generate a GL batch. You get the chance to look at that, make sure everything looks good, and then you can send that and sync that directly with GP or any of the other dynamic solutions that we've mentioned. You can map the BC projects module to GreenShade's custom fields so that you can create pay codes within GreenShades that map up to the projects that are within BC so that you can manage your jobs. And the last thing is utilizing GreenShades for those cost accounting reports that Jerica mentioned.
So a few key takeaways is really determining your unique needs as an organization and choosing a payroll software that really suits you. If you value some of that flexibility and control, but you're looking for a more modern solution, maybe in-house is right for you. Or if you want a more out-of-the-box solution, maybe something outsourced is right for you. Then you want to optimize that payroll integration to help reduce down on some of that manual entry. So as Michael talked about, looking for a provider with a true integration to the systems you're working with, not just a GL integration. And then using that information that you get from your payroll data in your ERP system to unlock financial insights and help optimize your business operations. And here at GreenShades, we do more than just payroll. We also help with human resources, benefits administration, tax and compliance, so your year-end forms and payroll tax returns, as well as helping you manage your time and labor.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Really appreciate it. If you do have any questions, hopefully this information was valuable to you, please reach out to us. I'm happy to have a chat with you and go through a little bit deeper investigation into what you're currently doing and help consult with you on ways that we think we can help.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed the information that Jerica and Michael shared with us today. Again, if you have not dropped your questions into the comments below, please do that now. And as I mentioned earlier, we will be answering those questions in a recap email following this event. So again, thank you for spending your afternoon here with us. I hope you have a very wonderful rest of your day. Take care.